Are you ready for the new world order run by Apple? Can you see iWORLD? Hello, fellow traders everywhere. Adam Houston here, co-founder of MarketClub, with your midday market update for Wednesday, the 25th of January. Can you believe there's only 4 more days left for trading? That's hard to believe. This January is just sort of come and gone, but we do have some big news. And we're going to start, of course, with our portfolio. And this is the midday update for the 25th. As I said, we're going to be looking at Apple right away. And Apple's had quite an extraordinary move. You can see today it's started out under a lot of upside pressure because of the blowout earnings it had. It's just had amazing earnings there, $97 billion in cash. What's he going to do with that money? Nobody knows, but also it could buy 95% of all the S&P 500 companies right now. It's pretty amazing that it has that kind of firepower. A company that started in a garage with 2 guys in 1975, 76. Extraordinary. So here we are. We're going to put our trade triangles in, our weekly trade triangles. You can see we're long right here from 393, and the market's currently trading at 446, so a nice profit there. And our monthly from 355, almost $100 profit in that position. The trade triangles have nailed this market, as they've nailed many markets. And I will show you more tonight on our show at later today on that. So let's go to our next market. The next market we're looking at is the S&P 500. The market continues, in my mind, to be in a plus mode. We have a plus 100, excuse me, plus 85 on this, but we're just coming back 314. The 1300 levels continue to be positive. You can see our monthly kicked in at 1292. We're looking for this market to go to 1370 to even 1400. Technically, it looks very, very good. And we may see some pullbacks, but we've been really, if you look at the last several days, just right here, we've been sort of flat, which means to me it's getting used to the level of over 1300. So 1314.36 right now. The PSAR, which is the parabolic stop and reverse, comes in at 1305 today. So that's the level I would watch very carefully. So next market we're looking at is going to be Target. Now, the reason we talk about Target is because Ron Johnson has just taken over the CEO of Penney, which is an old line company. He used to run Target. He was credited with a lot of the merchandising innovation that Target came out with. So as you can see right now, that stock's not looking too healthy with a monthly and a weekly red triangle. Trading range 55, and you can see it's just sort of hanging around here, not doing too much of anything. But on the other hand, Ron Johnson last was with Apple for 10 years, and he sort of knocked it out of the park. Now, this is what's happening to Penney right now. Penney is a plus 55, indicating a trading range. However, unlike Target, it's green triangles on the monthly, green triangles on the weekly, indicating an uptrend. This is an area probably looking to buy this market. Now, if we go further out, we'll max this out right now. You'll see that Penney has been under a lot of, I'll take all these triangles off, has been really under pressure, coming from as high as 85 down to these levels now. Can we get it back up to 85? If anybody can do it, it's probably Ron Johnson, who's in the driver's seat there. But again, we do have trade triangles right here indicating from 34.50. The market's below that level right now, so it may be an excellent time to be a buyer here for the long term, but have always use money management. So let's go to our next market, and that's going to be silver. The silver market, I'm going to get closer to it so you can see what's going on there. Silver's actually put in a pretty good performance today. The Fed just came out. They're going to leave interest rates to 0 to 2014. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And suddenly, boom, we're up and running here, plus 70. We still have a minus column in the monthly trade triangles, but we're still not out of the woods yet. We're sort of just trying to get out of the woods. I'm not so convinced that we're going to see this market go higher, but we'll see how it plays out the next couple of days. Same thing goes for silver. Silver actually did something which was quite unusual. It gave you a sell signal on the PSAR earlier, and the PSAR is right now at 1691, was really pretty much 1691.33. We're 1691.21 now, so we maybe actually hit a gain on the upside, which is pretty unusual for this to happen in one day. But the Fed just came out with the announcement, and that's what the knee-jerk reaction was to that. So let's go to our next market. And the next market we're looking at is copper. And copper, again, is a sort of pushed up towards the high levels of its Donchian trade channel. We are positive. We have a plus 100. We've been talking about this for weeks. actually not weeks, but certainly since we had our trade triangle click in on the 18th, so we're the 25th today, so it's 7 days ago. And that was a business at 376 to be a buyer. Market's obviously doing better, and it looks like it's going to go to 4 to us. So it looks like it will go higher. So let's go to our next market, crude oil. We'll be obviously talking about these markets and more tonight on our show. So please tune in for that. If you have any questions, go to the blog and place them on there. We'll try to do our very best to get them noted and spoken about on our show. Love to hear from you. Anyways, minus 60 is a trading range. We've talked about this market before. We've talked about the potential pattern we see here in this market, and which is, I think that with our trade trends, the longer term positive, and you have this sort of pattern developing, it looks to me like this is going to be a big energy field to push this market much higher. The key level, as we see every day, is 104, and on the downside you're probably looking at 98 as support right now. Longer term support comes in right around the 93 level. So let's say these are the parameters. We're in a trading range, minus 60, so we may chop around, but I think eventually we'll see this market move higher just on demand alone, as the perception, and this is the key, perception is seeing that the world is getting better. So let's just clear the screen, go to our next market. And we've got a lot of markets to cover today. We're covering CA, which is, I want to show you this one because it's had a big move today. It's actually up almost 10%. It was up over 10% earlier, but look at this. This is a daily chart. We had a signal on the 20th. How about that? We had a signal on the 20th to get long this market, and of course, boom, look what happened. Just a great move. And I think that's the key and the magic of the trade triangles. And if we go out further out, you'll see that these signals don't occur every day. And you can see the last negative signal we had on this market was back here, and that was 23.12. So you avoided all of this kind of choppy, and basically get in when the going's great. And of course, that was a great move up today, almost 10% in a couple of days. So that's part of the trade triangle magic. So next market we're looking at is the euro dollar. The euro dollar is, in my mind, is still in a longer term negative trend with our monthly and weekly. I'll get this closer in so you can get a good idea. We're at the top of the trading range. This could potentially be a hammer in the candlestick terms, but it's not. We haven't made the turn back down yet. And as you look here, we're in an overbought condition, but nothing to be too excited about, except if you're a long-term trader, be short. If you're an intermediate-term trader, you should also be short. And if you're a very short-term trader, you should just be out of the market right now. So let's go to the next market, and that's the dollar index. And cover a lot of markets now. The dollar index, again, this is, I'm going to go to 6-month view. You can see the market's had a good move. It did, however, break a trend line, which we talked about earlier this week. It broke a trend line last week, but we talked about it earlier this week and last week. It looks to me it has to consolidate over this level we talked about, the lows we just saw. We talked about the 79.60, 79.50 level. It needs to hold above these levels. If it goes below that level, it's going to be a little bit on the defensive. But nonetheless, it still looks as though it's trying to hang in there to consolidate to go higher. But we need some probably news from Greece or some European news that comes out and kicks the euro down a notch again. So we'll see how that plays out. But lots going on. We have our show tonight. Again, we want to be talking about these markets. We'll also look at Corning, which is an interesting one. Well, I've showed you bullish markets. Well, let me show you. Corning took a real hit on the chin today. That's down almost 10%. And guess what? Guess what? The triangles got it right, basically. You're out of the market. 19 was the negative signal we had on Corning. Now, Corning happens to make the glass for the iPhone, I believe, and the iPad, and still they got whacked. So if we go out a little further, you can see the signal came in originally from 1906 to be short. This is back on June 3rd of last year. And you can see the big move down. And right now it's still a minus 75, which is an emerging trend on the downside. So again, I showed you stocks where it had big moves on the upside. We caught those with our trade triangles. If you're not a Market Club member, you really should try it out. It's $8.95. It's trial for a full month. You have full access to all the trade triangles, our talking chart technology. It's really pretty amazing. Our talking chart technology just goes right, click here, and will tell you what everything is doing on that symbol. So again, let's look at the markets tonight when we do our show. We'll be starting at 4 o'clock. If you can make it, great. We'd love to have you come in and check us out and talk about the markets. Now, this is a very, very key level. Look at where we are on the on the CRB Reuters commodity index. We're trading right now at 316. 316 is a very, very key level. I'll scope this in even further so we get the 3-month view. And you can see if we close over, and I want to say, I'd really like to see it close over the 316.20 level, but 316.13, 316.15, 316.20 would be definitely very bullish. That, to me, would complete what we consider to be a very important formation in the index. In that the index we're looking at is right here. This is the formation we're talking about, the potential for a really kind of like a head and shoulders base. And if we're right, we're going to go from the 295 level to 316. Let's call it 315 just to be very conservative. So you got a 20-point move from here. So that takes us up to about the 26 level, somewhere, 36 level, which is quite a bit higher than we are right now. So let me just take that off the screen and just look at where we think we can go. If we go to the 36 level, that would be quite something. So let's just go to see where we go. Yeah, we can see the market going up to around here, 36. And if that's the case, we're going to break this level here, which is also a double bottom, which is in this case, it's a double bottom right here, and a pivot point. So if we go over the pivot point, we're looking at inflation, 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 period. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hey, this is Adam Hewison. I'm glad you had a chance to stop by today, and I'm hoping you can stop by a little later and watch our show. It's on demand, so you can see it no matter where you are, on demand. And also, if you're going to be looking to improve your trading, one of the best ways you can do it is a one-on-one Market Club coaching. Ask yourself, is it right for you? The call is free at 877-219-1482, and the consultation is free. You'll be amazed at how it can help you improve your trading in 2012. So Adam Hewison for Market Club, give us a call, 877-219-1482. I'll see you later on today with our big show. Don't miss that.